we want to talk to you about COVID-19 restrictions and the lifting of COVID-19 restrictions and the speed with which Ireland is lifting COVID-19 restrictions. And in fact, the fact that it's not being eased quick enough. The reason we want to have this conversation is a message that we got in just a short time ago from one of our listeners, Darren. And Darren is extremely frustrated over this. I want you to have a listen to his message, and then we want to get your reaction. So this is Darren.
Morning, Adrian and Jeremy. Just wondering if you could bring something up on your show today. Like many people, I've been watching the Euros this week, and just looking there at the Denmark game yesterday, there was 40,000 fans in that stadium. And one of the other matches I noticed was the Hungary v Portugal game, and there was 65,000 fans in that stadium. Now what I'd like to know is, why is Ireland lagging so far behind these EU countries? In Ireland, we're testing 500 people standing in square boxes in a strictly controlled environment for a concert. And then you have 2,400 fans allowed in Croke Park for a match. This is an 82,000 seater stadium. My real question is, why are we so far behind the rest of Europe, even though our vaccine rollout is massive, hugely effective and showing great signs? Would love to know viewers' thoughts on why we're so far behind. Cheers.
All right, so there you go. That is Darren's message. And we'd love to hear from you. Our WhatsApp number is 085 825 2626. 085 825 2626. Do you believe that Ireland is opening way too slowly compared to other European countries? Does it bother you when you're watching the Euros and you see stadiums packed with spectators, yet we're not even hosting a match? In fact, we lost the rights to host 4 Euro 2020 matches here in Dublin because the government weren't prepared to say we could have spectators in the stadium. So UEFA said, well, good luck to you. We'll have it elsewhere. We'll host some of the matches in Wembley. We'll host some of them in St. Petersburg in Russia. Good luck to you, Ireland. We're taking the matches away.
Sinful. Absolutely sinful. This was our one opportunity to host European Championship matches. This won't come around again for the next 20 years, probably, the opportunity for us to host the match. And as Adrian says, it's gone to Wembley and to St. Petersburg because we were taking... Now, in fairness, we would have had to sign off on that probably back at Christmas time when
No, it was only weeks ago. In fact, it wasn't that long ago. We lost the rights to the 4 matches on the 23rd of April. That's only a month and a bit ago, or 2 months ago.
I thought it was further back.
No. It was in April, when we already knew that our vaccine program was going to be going, great guns, which it has done. And the government were just fired. So UEFA officially stripped Dublin of its hosting of 4 Euro 2020 matches, with the games being moved to St. Petersburg and Wembley.
So the one opportunity in 20 years for us to host a major football tournament and be proud and be able to say, look at the Aviva Stadium, doesn't it look beautiful? Imagine... and in
fact, all UEFA were looking for was a guarantee of a minimum of 25% spectator attendance.
Yeah, and I mean, you look at the other sporting events that are coming up, 45,000 people are going to be allowed to attend the final of the European Championships. So when you watch that final in a couple of weeks, there's going to be 45,000 people at that match. Wimbledon, which is starting in a couple of weeks as well, are going to have a full capacity crowd for their final as well, I believe, aren't they?
So I believe. The US Open in the States will have a capacity crowd as well. So anyway, we're asking whether or not, do you believe we're being too cautious? Or do you think that Ireland's approach is the right one? We're taking it nice and gentle, not having any mass events, and, seeing how it goes. And we know that things are going quite well in terms of the vaccine rollout, the number of people in hospitals and everything else. But do you think we are being too cautious. The Chief Medical Officer and HICWA have said that Ireland should take a cautious and gradual approach to lifting restrictions on mass gatherings. HICWA has submitted a report to the National Public Health Emergency Team on the measures needed to allow large gatherings to happen safely. So we'd like to hear from you. Send us a WhatsApp right now to 085 825 2626. 085 825 2626. Do you think Ireland is being too cautious, or maybe you think being cautious is paying dividends? We haven't had any major outbreaks of the virus except in Limerick. Here in Dublin, we're doing quite well. Is that the way to keep it going? Keep the restrictions and ease them gradually as opposed to having major events? Or do you agree with Darren, who says it's just ridiculous at this stage?
It is ridiculous, and I'll tell you why. Mass gatherings are still happening. They're just not organised mass gatherings. I mean, you look at the pyrite protest that took place in the city centre during the week now. I have absolutely no problem with that protest. These poor people, their houses are going to be demolished, and they were just looking for some redress. And I saw a drone shot of the pyrite protest in the city centre the other day, and it may as well have been a football match.
Yeah, it was a huge crowd. Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that crowd there, but the crowds are gathering anyway. If you go up to Marley Park this afternoon or any stage over the weekend, you will have the exact same numbers in Marley Park as you would have in a stadium if a match was on. We are so far behind. The rest of Europe, and I know this from talking to friends who are living in different countries, the rest of Europe are laughing at us because we're so far behind. And we've done leaps and bounds at trying to get the vax program out there. Yet, why are we still not allowed to have these big sporting events with spectators there? It makes no sense to me.
Okay, 085 825 2626 is our WhatsApp number. We want to find out whether or not you think we are reopening too slowly, or are we just, in your opinion, reopening at the right pace? Like, one message just came in to us from Ash, and Ash says, I believe the reason they don't want to open up so quick is due to the CMO and the experience at Christmas, where the spike in cases after the new year, we got put back into lockdown. We should be opening a little bit quicker, though. 085 825 2626 is our WhatsApp number. Do you think we're opening too slowly or about right?
Sorry, by the way, to Ash, that spike in January wasn't because of people gathering for football matches and stuff like that.
No, it was people gathering at Christmas.
People were gathering at Christmas in houses where you had 4 households. That is not happening now. Everybody is outside. And you have to remember the vaccine rollout at that stage was only beginning. We now have, 2/3 of the population have at least one jab at this stage?
Yeah. Looking
at the stats yesterday from the hospitals, 20 hospitals have 2 or fewer cases of COVID-19. That's coming from the HSE. So you have 20 of Ireland's hospitals have fewer than 2 cases of COVID-19. The vaccine is working. The vaccine is keeping people out of ICU. The vaccine is keeping people out of hospital if they end up catching COVID. So the vaccine is working, but we are not seeing the fruits of our labour. We are not being rewarded.
Well, we kind of are, in that places are reopened. I met my daughter yesterday and had dinner in my local. I wasn't able to do that a couple of weeks ago, so we are getting somewhere, but maybe not quick enough. Let's have a listen to this WhatsApp voice note, and we'd love to hear from you. Send us a voice note, please, to 085 825 2626. That's 085 825 2626. This is David.
How are you, lads? I think Ireland has gone about the right way regarding the pandemic, taking things nice and slow, get the vaccines out there, but I think they should be looking more at antigen testing. They're turning their backs on that, more or less. That should be a goer for the likes of schools and businesses and sporting events and stuff where crowds would be. Cheers.
All right, 085 825 2626 is our WhatsApp number. We're asking you, do you think that Ireland is reopening too slow or just about right? The reason we're talking about this is this message that we got from Darren.
Morning, Adrian and Jeremy. Just wondering if you could bring something up on your show today Like many people, I've been watching the Euros this week, and just looking there at the Denmark game yesterday, there was 40,000 fans in that stadium. And one of the other matches I noticed was the Hungary v Portugal game, and there was 65,000 fans in that stadium. Now, what I'd like to know is, why is Ireland lagging so far behind these EU countries? In Ireland, we're testing 500 people standing in square boxes in a strictly controlled environment for a concert. And then you have 2,400 fans allowed in Croke Park for a match. This is an 82,000-seater stadium. My real question is, why are we so far behind the rest of Europe, even though our vaccine rollout is massive, hugely effective and showing great signs? Would love to know viewers' thoughts on why we're so far behind. Cheers.
All right,
Darren.
that's the reason we're having this conversation. Darren's message, 085 825 2626 is our WhatsApp number. If you want to get involved in this conversation, you can send us a voice note, or you can call us on 085 825 2626. Fiona, good morning to you.
Hi, guys. Well done. Delighted to hear you on the
You're very kind. Thanks very much indeed, Fiona. You just heard that message, Darren, frustrated that we're reopening too slowly. We see football matches all over Europe with thousands of people at them. You don't agree with them?
No. I'm talking from my own perspective. You know, I've been quite ill over the last couple of years. And because of COVID and the spikes, I haven't been able to get back into hospital to get what I need to get done.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the stupidity of people. And
what do you mean by that? Because of the stupidity of people?
I'm going to tell you, where I live, when the height of the COVID was going on, you would think there was nothing wrong with anybody. They were out in the green, having parties, drinking. And I mean, in the height of it, we're not talking about Christmas, just before it. And I couldn't understand why all these people were mixing with each other when we knew what was going on, that people's lives could die. We could die. There was no two ways about it. If you get COVID, it's even nearly worse than saying cancer now. COVID is nearly worse to say the name as cancer.
Okay, so you're saying that until this virus is gotten rid of, it's directly affecting your health. So you want it gotten rid of, basically.
Absolutely. I mean, it's seriously, it's like the Spanish flu years ago. When it happened, I mean, if I get COVID, I'm dead. There's no two ways about it. I will die. So I have to stay in my house and stay. And I'm not just talking for me. I'm talking. There's a lot of people in the same boat as me that have to stay in their house and can't go outside their door. 2 years I'm inside my door because I can't go outside.
And because you're in a vulnerable category, you would be very sick if you were to contract COVID. Okay, so that's why you've been so safe. Now, let me ask you this. Have you gotten your vaccine?
I got the first one. Last one's next week.
Okay, so by 2 weeks from now, you'll be fully vaccinated. Will that give you a bit more confidence?
Well, it does, because I'm even going back in the 19th of July. I've been given a date. So we're doing something right by taking our time. The numbers are coming down.
Mm-hmm. I know, but Fiona, with the greatest respect, if you're waiting for COVID to disappear, it's not going to happen, and I understand.
No, it's not. No, I understand that, Jeremy.
It's here to stay.
But we're talking, but to get the whole country vaccinated and then open it up.
Well, you're never going to have we have this huge cohort of people who believe the vaccine is poison and they never want to get the vaccine. We spoke to them yesterday on the show.
Too.
And we spoke
and
to
you're going to die if you get the vaccine, and Big Brother is going to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And all
those we're never going to have 100% vaccinations in Ireland.
Well, we're going to probably have very nearly to it, Jeremy. I mean, what
based on the rollout, based on the take-up here in Ireland, we are doing extremely well. We will have probably the highest vaccination rate in the whole of Europe, the way we're going. So that is good. But the frustration, Fiona, that people are feeling here in Ireland, when we look at football matches all across Europe with not full stadiums, but certainly very large crowds, that we couldn't even do, to the point that we lost those 4 matches that were meant to take place here. Can you understand why people are getting a bit frustrated? Let's open it up.
Well, no, I can understand that too, Adrian, for sure. But the other side of it is, what if there's another outbreak? Because we did things too fast. Just take them a little bit slower.
Even if there is another outbreak, the fact of the matter is that because the older population have been more or less fully vaccinated, people aren't ending up in hospital now. The hospital numbers are coming down and coming down. The numbers in hospital around the country are at the lowest level they've been since last year. So that's all very positive. That the vaccine.
It is, but they're still not allowing people in to visit anyone in hospitals or anything. So there's still a big stigma around it, Adrian.
Okay, stay there for 1 second, Fiona, if you can, please. Fiona says we're opening at just the right pace. If we rush it, we could be in trouble. Others are saying we need to open up faster. We need to allow, for example, the All-Ireland finals in August, late August.
No reason why we can't have spectators at that.
No, there will be spectators at it, but they're talking about perhaps maybe 20,000 out of a 83,000-seater stadium, and that's at the end of August. Trish,
sorry. Joey wants to say something to Fiona there on WhatsApp.
Okay, hang on. We'll just play this. Fiona, if you're still there, just play this message for you.
Is she having a laugh? COVID is the same as cancer or worse than cancer. I don't believe you after time, I swear to God.
Fiona, do you want to respond to that?
I didn't say it was a cancer. I said it's as bad, nearly as cancer now.
Oh, would be for somebody like you?
Yes, of course. I mean, if he cleaned out his ears and listened, he might have heard what I actually said. Idiot.
Okay, stay there for a second, Fiona. Let me bring in Trish. Trish, good morning. Welcome to Opinions Matter.
Hi, Adrian.
Trish, do you think we're opening at the right pace, or should we speed it up a bit and allow more people to football matches and GA matches and mass gatherings, basically?
I think the return to normal life is well and truly overdue at this stage. People have complied. They've stuck to all the restrictions for 15 months now. Like you said, the older population have all been vaccinated and the high-risk groups. So the risk of fatality, I suppose, has pretty much been eliminated at this stage. People know what they're risking if they're going out gathering. The vaccine rollout has been highly successful. I was looking at a chart yesterday with the second best country in the EU for the uptake of the vaccine across every age group. People need to go back to normal life for their mental health. People have been literally basically locked in their own houses for 15 months now. They've lost their jobs. They've had a massive financial impact. They haven't seen loved ones. They've lost loved ones and couldn't even attend a funeral to pay their respects. Enough is enough. The risk of massive fatalities is pretty much eliminated now. Even cancelling hospital appointments or refusing to do tests or exams or bring people into hospital when they needed to be seen. I think the entire approach in Ireland to COVID, I think, was an absolute joke. I know people who were diagnosed with cancer during COVID and were refused surgery because we can't risk bringing you in for an operation because, we know you have a disease that is going to kill you, but, there's a risk you might catch something that will make you a bit sick. I just think the whole thing was ridiculous.
Okay, so now I remember at the very start of this last year talking to people, and one of the things that we discussed was let's vaccinate the old people, the vulnerable, and then let's get on with life. We're now at that stage where those people have been fully vaccinated. We've seen the cases in over 65s completely collapse. There aren't any. So people aren't getting sick from it. So you think it is time now that we're at that stage? We're in a much better place than we were last Christmas, for example, where nobody was vaccinated. You think it's time to just reopen everything, do you?
No, I wouldn't just suddenly reopen it, but they've definitely gone way too slow. And it's completely contradictory as well. All the ministers are on the radio going, we're going to have a great outdoor summer, outdoor dining, staycations. And then every day on Facebook, you see the guards cordoning off beaches and public areas, telling people they're not allowed to gather. So, what are you supposed to do? You're going on a staycation, but they actually want you to just be locked in your hotel rather than locked in your house. Everywhere you go, they're locking down public areas. They don't want people gathering. People just want to be able to do normal things.
Okay, Fiona, let me bring you back in for a second. People just want to be able to do normal things. That's really what she's saying.
Adrian, I 100% understand what she's saying. But for the likes of me and other people, which was quite a few in the same situation, it's life or death for us. And when I see gatherings like happened a couple of weeks ago in Dublin, that's a breeding ground for COVID. There's too many people. They're all on top of each other. The beach is the same. Look what happened in Galway. Jesus. I mean, it was like a Woodlands holiday out on the beach. There was that many people. Like, that's where the outbreaks happen. And that's what I'm afraid of. I don't want to... 15 months I've been locked in my house. I don't want another 15 months. I would rather take it slower, opening up things, not all in one go, but take it as slow as...
But again, sure, Fiona, the point that I made a second ago was that, a lot of people are very happy now that the elderly and the vulnerable and healthcare workers and all of those people have been vaccinated. We can see the cases coming down. And then the ones that are getting COVID, we've over 200 cases a day, they're not ending up very sick. So... is it now not worth the risk of reopening the place?
Yeah, but not like all at once. Do it the way they're doing it. Slowly but surely. Slowly but surely, and we'll get there.
Trish, slowly but surely, and we'll get there.
I don't think we need to all of a sudden go from restrictions to absolutely nothing. But like you said, in August for the All-Ireland, if it's going ahead, they're looking at doing a quarter of the capacity of the stadium.
40,000.
There's no need for it at all. The high-risk groups and the elderly will have been well and truly by August. I'd say the majority of people who want the vaccine will have had it.
Yeah, absolutely. So do you think that come August, for example, should we have a full Croke Park for the All-Ireland finals?
Absolutely. It's what the country needs. It's what the economy needs. Financially, it's going to take Ireland many, many years to recover from this. They want people, for the economy of the country, they want people out there going to events and returning to normal life. Going by restrictions now, people aren't even supposed to go visit their parents and be in each other's houses still.
No, we're not, I suppose. All right, stay there for 1 second, both of you. 085 825 2626 is our WhatsApp number if you want to get involved in this conversation. Do you think Ireland is opening too slowly or at just the right pace? Let's have a listen to this WhatsApp voice note from Tony.
Tony in the Liberties. I'm in a group, a course, and we were doing Zoom through all the COVID, and that was fine, but now that things are back to normal, they still have us on Zoom, and it's driving me nuts just not being able to go into the classroom at this stage. I can't understand when schools are already in where they keep doing Zoom at this rate.
085 825 2626 is our number. Here's another WhatsApp voice note from Ashley.
I just believe that we should be opening up a little bit quicker than we are. We are looking at our European counterparts, and we're seeing their countries opening back up, and they're trying. Yes, things might not be perfect. They may go a little bit wrong, but our vaccine rollout is one of the best in Europe in terms of uptake. So I believe we are in a really, really strong position to open back up and let people get back to a little bit of normality or normal life. Not that we're going to have that back for a long time, but if we open back up soon, I think it'll stop a lot of that frustration, because people are getting very, very frustrated, I believe.
Yeah, I agree with you. People are getting very, very frustrated at this stage.
And with the greatest respect to Fiona, and I can hear the fear in her voice, and I completely understand that. And she's not the only person that's in this situation. We know somebody else who has respiratory issues, serious respiratory issues, has one lung as well, doesn't she? And she has not left the house either, because she knows that if she leaves the house and picks up COVID, gets COVID, her days are numbered. She will not survive. And I get that there's a section of society that are absolutely terrified, but we can't, with the greatest respect to those people, we can't stop life going on just for that section of society, can we? I mean, Fiona, can you ever...
Fiona's gone, sorry. Yeah, she's not
I'm
on the
wondering, can she ever see a situation where she'd be on a packed bus again or a packed Lewis? Probably not.
But she said she's getting her second vaccine next week, so that will give her more confidence to get out and about. 085 825 2626 is our WhatsApp number. If you want to... the simple question we're asking is Ireland being too cautious where it comes to reopening? That's the question we're asking. Is Ireland being too cautious? This is a WhatsApp voice note from Brian.
Hi guys, Brian here. Just listening to that lady there talking about opening at the right pace. Like, I mean, you had those gatherings at South William Street in Galway and wherever else you mentioned. Like, I mean, 2 weeks later there was no surge in cases after them, you know, and they were outdoors as well, you know, and I just personally think things are moving too slowly. Anyway, thank you.
All right, thanks very much indeed. 085 825 2626 is our WhatsApp number. Now, Sandra, good morning to you.
Good morning, Adrian. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Sandra, are we opening up too quick or at just the right pace?
I think, in my own opinion, they are opening up far too quick, right? I know the rest of the European countries have opened fairly quick, all right, and Ireland are a little bit behind. But people that
we're a fair bit behind, Fiona. Sandra. The fact of the matter is that we lost 4 UEFA 2020 football matches because the Irish government couldn't give a guarantee that people would be allowed into the stadiums for the matches. But yet we see those same matches being held in London, being held in Russia, with thousands of people at them. So are we not being too cautious?
We are being too cautious, but if let the leads go just a little bit more. But people have to understand that the virus will always be there. Unless it's under control and people get their COVID injections, then things will be let go a little bit more. But people have to understand that you just can't do it so bloody quick, you know, too quick. Just let the lead go a little bit. If you can understand.
Sorry, Sandra, what are you waiting? What are we waiting for? What are you waiting for to happen? Like, what you're saying? Just
what's that magic thing that needs to happen?
Leave it a little bit longer for what?
No, I'm not. No, what I'm saying, Jeremy, is until people get their COVID, the whole population of Ireland turn around and say, right, we're going to get our COVID injections. The Irish government cannot turn around and say that, right, everybody, drop the bus, everything. Open all the shops and everything else.
Sorry, Sandra. Anybody that's vulnerable, or elderly at this stage is well vaccinated. My mother got her second jab weeks and weeks ago, to the point that she's not wearing a face mask when we go into the house or she goes into our house anymore. My mother is very, very confident now, and she feels relaxed because she trusts that the vaccine will protect her. Anybody in that cohort is now fully jabbed. So, what are we waiting for? Because to be honest with you, if you're waiting for the 20-year-olds to get vaccinated, the 20-year-olds...
We are going to be waiting,
and the 20-year-olds are going on as if COVID doesn't exist anyway for the best part. You know what I mean?
Yes, I know what you mean. But the people that are being left isolated in the homes because of the fear of going out, which I can totally understand, and that have got their COVID injections, people that haven't got their COVID injections, they have to realise that it's not bloody fair. It's not bloody fair. But what I'm trying to say to you is that, what I'm trying to say is that I'm not... Sorry, I'm just getting a little bit flustered.
Okay, you think we need to keep going at the pace we're going in terms of reopening for fear that we might have another big outbreak or something like that? Is that what you're saying?
What I'm saying is we are going to have an outbreak anyway, but just let the lead go a little bit more. The government, they have to realise that people have to try and get back to normality.
Sorry, Sandra, with the greatest respect, where is the evidence that we're going to have another spike or another outbreak? Where is that? Is that evidence?
Jeremy, we don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. Jeremy, we don't know what tomorrow's going to bring.
So you think
Well, in fairness, Jeremy, you're talking about outbreaks and all of that. We've seen in England how they've had to delay their full reopening because of a spike in cases.
Yes, because of the Delta variant.
Yeah.
We are not allowing flights from those countries into Ireland.
Sorry, flights from England are coming in every day of the week. Every day.
Yes, and they're quarantining, are they not?
They're meant to be.
I totally agree with Adrian on this part. Yeah. I do. I'm sorry, but I do. Yeah.
But I just don't know what we're waiting for. As Adrian says, Sandra, what magic wand, what silver bullet are we waiting for that we allow everything to open again? I mean, I'd like to be in a situation where you would like to think. And I was talking to someone the other day, one of the neighbours on my road, who said, "Oh, my children won't be trick or treating again this Halloween."
This Halloween?
Yeah, this Halloween. So already this person, and I've no problem with someone being cautious. By the way, the mother and father in this household are both vaccinated at this stage, okay? And they're already saying, I mean, Halloween is how many months away? Is Halloween?
Yeah, 5 months.
5 months away. Already they're saying we've already decided that our children won't be trick or treating. That is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, that is ridiculous.
I'm sorry, it is.
I totally agree with you there. Yeah, I totally agree with you there. But what I'm saying is that it's the people that are running this bloody country are making balls of everything. But what I'm saying is to let the lead go to a little bit more. You know, because people have been isolated over a year or so on. It's getting sort of ridiculous.
I would like to think that by next Christmas we'll be doing pub crawls and all that.
Oh, so would I. You don't do pub crawls, but yeah, I would.
Sorry, what I meant to say is I would like to think that by next Christmas you'll be doing a pub crawl.
Exactly. 085 825 2626. Very quickly, if you want to get involved in this conversation, we're talking about restrictions, frustration that a lot of people are feeling as we look to countries all over Europe that have not fully packed football stadiums. Well, Hungary did, but certainly we see people in stadiums at all of the Euro 2020 matches. Ireland was meant to host 4 of them, and we lost the right because the government couldn't say we can have people at the stadium. So are we opening too slowly? Here's a WhatsApp voice note from Stephen.
Lads, this time last year was, I think the numbers were pretty much the same in terms of COVID. Like, I don't know if you can look into that. I mightn't be 100% right there, but they were very low because in the summer it seems it is seasonal. So I wouldn't be getting too excited about these vaccines just yet.
All right, Stephen, the fact of the matter is we actually have an awful lot more cases this June than we had last June. By last June, we were down to 10, 20 cases a day. Now we are up around 200 plus cases every single day. So we're not in the same place as we were. The only difference now is people aren't going to hospital. That's just the fact of it.
And that is what the HSE and NFED are looking at. They're looking at hospital numbers. That was the big problem all along, was that the hospitals would not be able to cope with the numbers of people.
Okay, but one of the fears is, and as Kevin said on Facebook, lads, give us an inch and we'll take a mile. You know that's what's going to happen, and then we end up at square one again. The difference, Kevin, is square one is a different place now because, like we said at the start of the year, when nobody was vaccinated, 2,000 people ended up in hospital. That isn't going to happen again because those people are now vaccinated. John sent us this.
Adrian and Jeremy, how you doing, lads? Loving the show. Welcome back. It's great to hear you on the radio again. You're on about there opening up the country. Yes, I do agree. We should be opened up. Like, it's the summertime now. Like, not just the summer, but we've all done our time. It's time to open back up the country a little bit quicker than we should be, and let's get back to normality. Thanks, lads. Love
all right, thank you very much indeed. 085 825 2626. Alan sent us this WhatsApp voice note.
Good morning, Adrian. Good morning, Jeremy. I think we need to face the fact as well here is we have a kind of underlying psychological issue here. I just think there's a fear in people about getting back to normal to a certain degree, even at the medical level with NEFIT and all that. I just think I was fortunate enough to get my second vaccine done yesterday, which was a great relief to me, but I kind of feel if a pub opened as normal tomorrow and if I was walking by on a Friday night and went to go in and it was packed to the rafters, I'd probably feel very, very uncomfortable. I'm not comfortable around large crowds of people at the moment, and I think that's the underlying psychological issue that we're going to have to deal with. People are afraid to a certain extent, and I think even, as I said, people at the high level in the medical business are afraid to let people go back to normal out of fear of maybe a fourth wave or something like that. But the reality is, as one of your callers just said, the virus is going to be around for God knows how long. We just got to learn to live with it and maybe, cop ourselves on and get back to normal. I think the days of major fatalities, please God, are well behind us. We're well on target to have the majority of the country vaccinated by the end of next month, I believe. So we just need to get our ass in gear and let's get back to normal as quickly as possible.
All right, Alan, thanks very much indeed. Dawn has a message for you, Jeremy. Actually, have a listen to this.
Jeremy, you'd want to be very careful with your mother there. My mother's fully vaccinated since March and she's recently caught COVID over the weekend. So you'd want to still be careful with masks, etc., because the vaccines are not protecting the elderly.
Dawn, maybe you can reply to or send us another message. You say your mother has contracted COVID. Is she sick from it?
Yes. I certainly never said that the vaccine protects you from catching COVID. It doesn't. And, the health chiefs have been very clear about this from day one. And anybody who knows anything about the vaccines will know the vaccine does not stop you from catching COVID. What it does do is prevent you, as Adrian says, from getting those symptoms that will land you in hospital. Yeah. And I get the point. Jesus, the one thing I wanted to do through this whole thing was protect my mother and my mother-in-law and aunties and uncles who were all of that age and all vulnerable, and we did everything we can. But what is the point in my mother getting the double vaccine if you still want her to sit in her living room with a mask on for the rest of her life? Because she's not going to do that. I wouldn't expect her to do that. And
I would be very interested, Don, from your message, for you to send us another one and let us know your mother is fully vaccinated and has contracted COVID. Is she very sick? Is she in hospital? Because that's what the vaccine is meant to prevent. Aaron sent us this message.
Yeah, I definitely think slow and steady wins the race, because I'm telling you, the last thing I want is another lockdown. And I think the last thing anybody wants is another lockdown, especially if we end up getting a bit lax over the summer and it ends up peaking coming into the winter times. And I just genuinely don't think that would be... It'd be possibly the worst scenario, having to go through another lockdown this winter. So I definitely think, slow and steady.
No, I mean, I do agree with him on that. The thoughts of another lockdown is just horrific.
Even the word lockdown sounds
Yeah, I just want that out of our vocabulary.
Yeah, I never want to hear that. And but by the way, the government don't want another lockdown. That's why we have had one of the longest lockdown 3. It felt like it went on for an eternity, didn't it?
Yeah. Dawn has been back onto us, so let's have a listen to Dawn.
I didn't say that you said it's stopping it. What you said is your mother comes to your house with no mask on. I'm just letting you know to be a bit careful, that's all. And she is very ill from it. She has been in bed since last Wednesday. She wasn't unaware that she had it. Obviously, she was diagnosed the weekend. Extremely ill, and she's on steroids now at the moment. She's 82, but usually there's not a bother on her, but that's that.
All right, Dawn, thank you very much indeed.
I'm sorry to hear that your mother is sick from it as well. But I'm just talking from my point of view and my mother's point of view. She doesn't want to live the rest of her life not being able to hug her grandchildren. She's had enough of that. She's made so many sacrifices for months and months on end where she couldn't hug and kiss her grandchildren. And she went and she got the vaccine. She did what she was told to do, and she wants to be able to live her life again. And we can't, the younger people can't understand this, because, if you're in your 20s or 30s or even 40s, pretty much that you've another 30 years ahead of you, and you'll get more opportunities to go on holidays and go to parties and all that. If you are in the older age group, you don't think that way. You're counting down. You're not counting up, and you want to be able to live the life that you have left to its fullest. That's
okay. Mary on Facebook said lockdown 4 is on its way.
Oh,
Mary, I hope you're wrong.
I'm sick of, and this is not helping, by the way, this doom and gloom. There's a whole group of people out there, and on social media as well, that almost have glee in them when they hear about lockdown restrictions. I think some people get off on it. Okay. Don't they? They get off on the doom and gloom.
All right, one final WhatsApp voice note from Mary.
Hi guys, I actually called bull on your figures because it wouldn't make sense that if you're saying that all the older generation have been fully vaccinated, that the COVID numbers are gone up. So you're contradicting yourself, because what you're saying, oh, everyone get the vaccine and we'll all be okay. But if they're all okay, why are you saying that you've got more numbers of COVID now than you did last year? There was no vaccine this time last year. You're contradicting yourselves again. As per usual, I suppose, if someone doesn't have your opinion, you're not going to play this message, or you're just going to insult the person like you did yesterday, but we won't get into that. Have a nice day, guys.
Mary, I just played your message, firstly. And secondly, it is statistically correct to say that this June we have higher daily figures than we had last June. That's a statistical fact. But what is also a statistical fact is that people aren't getting as sick, because it is the vast majority of the cases now are in people under the age of 45. And those under 45s aren't getting as sick and aren't ending up in hospital and aren't ending up in ICU on average. So we are in a better position. Even though our daily case numbers are high, compared to June of last year, people aren't ending up in hospital because the elderly have been vaccinated, the ones who are most vulnerable to being very sick from this.